I found a door in my apartment that wasn't there before. The door wasn't there yesterday. I'm sure of it. My apartment is small, just a living room, a bedroom, a kitchen, and a bathroom. I've lived here for almost a year. I know every corner of it, every scratch on the wall, every creak in the floor. So when I walked into the hallway that morning and saw a new door, I immediately stopped. It was at the end of the hallway. Plain white, no handle, no frame, just a door built directly into the wall. For a moment, I thought maybe I was still half asleep. I rubbed my eyes and looked again. The door was still there. I walked closer. The wall had always been blank before. There used to be a small shelf there where I kept my keys, but now the shelf was gone, and the door had replaced it. I touched the surface. Cold wood. Real. Solid. I knocked on it. No sound came back. Not hollow, not solid either, just quiet. I grabbed my phone and checked old photos of the apartment. Pictures from when I first moved in. The hallway, the wall. No door, just the shelf. My stomach tightened, because that meant one thing. The door appeared overnight. I tried calling the landlord. He sounded confused. "There's no door in that hallway," he said. "I'm looking at it right now," I told him. "That's impossible," he replied. "I've owned that building for 15 years. I hung up and stared at the door again. Part of me wanted to ignore it, pretend it didn't exist, but curiosity is stronger than fear. So I pushed it. At first, it didn't move. Then suddenly, it opened. Slowly, without a sound. Behind the door was darkness. Not normal darkness. It looked thick, like a fog made of shadows. I turned on the flashlight on my phone and pointed it inside. The beam disappeared almost immediately, like the light was being swallowed. But I could see something. A hallway. Long, narrow, stretching farther than my apartment should allow. My apartment sits in the middle of the building. Behind that wall should be another apartment. Not a hallway. Definitely not one that long. Still, I stepped inside. The air felt colder. The floor was concrete, and the walls looked old, much older than the building itself. My footsteps echoed strangely, like the space was bigger than it looked. I walked for maybe 10 seconds. Then I turned around. The door behind me was still there, still open, still leading back to my apartment. That gave me a little comfort, so I kept walking. After about a minute, I noticed something strange. There were doors along the hallway. Old wooden ones, each with a number scratched into it. I reached for the handle. It opened easily. Inside was a room. My room. My exact apartment bedroom. The same bed, the same desk, the same window, even the same lamp. But something was wrong. The room looked slightly darker, like the lights had been dimmed, and someone was sitting on the bed. It was me. The person looked exactly like me. Same clothes, same face, same everything. But they were staring at the floor, completely still. I took a slow step backwards, and the version of me inside the room slowly raised his head. Then he smiled. I slammed the door shut. My heart was pounding so hard it hurt. "That's not possible," I whispered. But the hallway suddenly felt different, colder, quieter. I turned around and started walking back toward the entrance door. But something was wrong. The hallway was longer now, much longer. The door back to my apartment was gone. Panic started creeping into my chest. I walked faster, then faster, passing doors, each one slightly open, and from inside, I could hear sounds. My voice. Talking. Laughing. Sometimes crying. I reached door 12. It suddenly swung open by itself. Inside was another version of my apartment, but this time the room was destroyed, furniture broken, walls scratched, and something was standing in the corner. A tall shadow, too tall to be human, its head almost touching the ceiling. Slowly, it turned towards me. I ran, back down the hallway, past door after door. But every door started opening, and in every room there was another version of my life. Different choices, different moments, different versions of me. Some normal, some terrified, some not human anymore. Then I heard a voice behind me. My voice. Stop running. I froze. Slowly, I turned around. The smiling version of me from room 5 was standing in the hallway. But something about him was wrong. His smile was too wide, too still. You weren't supposed to see the doors, he said calmly. What is this place? I whispered. He tilted his head slightly. These are all the versions of you that didn't make it back. Cold fear spread through my body. What do you mean? He took a step closer. Every time someone finds the door, they enter the hallway, and only one version gets to return. My heart started racing again. So which one are you? The smile grew wider. I'm the one who stayed. The lights in the hallway suddenly flickered. All the doors slammed shut at once, and the long corridor went completely silent. The other version of me leaned closer and whispered something. Something that still keeps me awake at night. You should have closed the door behind you, because now there's no door back to my apartment, only more doors, and behind each one, another version of me.